It's gonna make you feel even better.
During the filming of one movie on this list, an actor actually broke his arm during the exact same scene where the real-life victim's son was injured. FilmGorilla presents 10 80s horror movies that time forgot but deserve a cult following. Number 10. Director Russell Mulcahy received a phone call from Steven Spielberg shortly after this movie came out. Spielberg was desperate to know how Mulcahy achieved the surreal look of the desert dream sequences. Mulcahy actually hung up on him because he thought his friends were playing a prank. The production spent $250,000 on a full-sized animatronic boar. This mechanical beast is barely seen on screen, but it was built with enough power to actually ram vehicles. Lead actor Gregory Harrison did his own stunts and dislocated his shoulder falling off a windmill. He finished the rest of the shoot while heavily medicated on painkillers. The director of photography was hired because of his gritty work on The Road Warrior. Coming up next is a supernatural thriller that started a 30-year blood feud between two Hollywood heavyweights. Number 9. This film sparked a legendary hatred between Robert De Niro and Mickey Rourke that still exists today. De Niro refused to speak to Rourke off-camera to keep their scenes tense and uncomfortable. Rourke took this personally and has publicly attacked De Niro's character for over 3 decades. Director Alan Parker said De Niro's performance as Louis Cypher was so realistic he stayed away from him on set. The movie is famous for its attention to detail, using props from the 30s and 40s to make the 50s setting feel lived in. The MPAA forced Parker to cut 10 seconds from a graphic sex scene to avoid an X rating. The line about wisdom bringing no profit to the wise is actually taken from a classic Greek tragedy. Watch out for our next entry, which is based on a real assault case so disturbing that Martin Scorsese called it one of the scariest films ever made. Number 8. This is the disturbing true story of Doris Byther, who claimed she was assaulted by 3 invisible spirits in her California home. In the movie, the actor playing the lead woman's son actually broke his arm during a struggle scene. This mirrored the real-life incident where Doris's son had his arm snapped by the malevolent force. Director Sidney J. Furie reportedly didn't believe a word of the real story and called the witnesses drugged-out weirdos. Despite his skepticism, he protected lead actress Barbara Hershey and made the set feel safe during the brutal sequences. Martin Scorsese also put this on his list of the scariest films of all time. It captures a shift in psychiatry where doctors used Freudian methods to blame the victim before biological testing took over. Up next is a movie where the director was so obsessed with gore that he banned the color red from every single set.
It's gonna make you feel even better.
Number 7. Director Gary Sherman was so obsessed with the impact of gore that he banned the color red from every set. He even swapped out vehicle taillights for purple bulbs to make the eventual blood splatter truly shocking. The legendary Stan Winston handled the effects before he became a household name. He built a mechanical dummy for the famous needle-eye stab that was so lifelike it fooled the crew. Winston spent weeks perfecting every eyelash and organic eye movement for a single close-up. He wanted the audience to believe they were watching a real human being get tortured. This was also the final film for Jack Albertson. He was suffering from cancer during production and attended the premiere in a wheelchair with an oxygen tank. He died just months after seeing his final work on the big screen. Stick around for a vampire movie where the word vampire is never spoken a single time in the entire script.
Stop! No!
Number 6. Catherine Bigelow took advice from James Cameron and cast 3 actors who had just finished filming Aliens. Lance Henriksen prepared for his role as a vampire leader by painting his hair with black tar. He added broken fake nails to his fingers to look like exposed bone and stayed in character at all hours. He once picked up a hitchhiker who was so terrified by his appearance, the man jumped out at the first stop. Bill Paxton also stars, and he once terrified a train worker by showing up in full gore makeup after a simulated accident. Despite being a vampire movie, the word vampire is never spoken a single time in the script. It was originally pitched as a western, but the studio thought horror was a safer bet for the box office. Up next is a film with a lead actress so young she was legally banned from seeing her own movie in theaters.
Who is that?
Number 5. Felissa Rose was only 13 years old when she took the lead role of Angela. This was incredibly rare for a horror film because of strict labor laws regarding night shoots. The production actually built a massive tent over a house and car to fake the nighttime setting during the day. This created so much noise from ventilation fans that the actors had to redub every line in post-production. This was the final performance for Mike Kellin, who played the camp owner. He hid his terminal lung cancer from the cast and died 3 months before the movie hit theaters. The director funded the entire project using a financial inheritance from his late mother. It ended up making 30 times its budget and becoming a massive cult hit. Coming up is a film where the creature effects smelled so bad the actors had to run off set to bathe in a river. Number 4. To create the sentient white goo for this movie, Larry Cohen used a foam made of blended fish bones. It stank so badly that the actors fled the set to bathe as soon as the camera stopped rolling. For the scenes where people actually had to eat the stuff, they used massive quantities of ice cream and yogurt. The film is a sharp satire of corporate greed and junk food addiction in America. Larry Cohen was inspired by the constant news reports of hazardous products being recalled from grocery stores. He originally wanted Arsenio Hall for the role of Chocolate Chip Charlie, but the studio demanded a more famous face. They eventually cast Garrett Morris, who described the production as completely crazy. Cohen actually lost a lawsuit over the special effects shots of exploding buildings. Stay tuned for the haunted house movie built on a $200,000 lie that fooled audiences worldwide. Number 3. The iconic Carmichael Mansion seen in this film is a complete lie. The production couldn't find a suitable house, so they built a $200,000 facade and bolted it to the front of a modern home. Every interior was an elaborate set built on a soundstage in Vancouver. George C. Scott stars here, and his reputation for being difficult preceded him. Director Peter Medak was terrified of him until they started working. The only real blow-up happened when a crew member knocked over a chessboard where Scott had been playing a game against himself for 2 weeks. Martin Scorsese considers this one of the 11 scariest movies ever made. It is based on a real haunting from a mansion in Denver during the 1960s. Up next is a suburban nightmare so bizarre it was marketed in Germany with the title Daddy is a Cannibal. Number 2. This movie is a deeply weird satire that hints the perfect suburban family might actually be a coven of witches. The father works for a chemical company developing herbicides based on Agent Orange from the Vietnam War. The film suggests the parents use human body parts to gain powers like invisibility and eternal life. It was shot mostly in Toronto, but the final cabin scene used a location in California. The surname of the family is a tribute to the producer of the original Universal monster movies. Despite the kids being in the same class, the actress playing Sheila was actually 4 years older than her co-star. This is why she looks significantly taller in every shot where they walk together. It is a bizarre look at 50s paranoia that most horror fans have completely missed. Our final entry is a dreamlike thriller that gave a now legendary composer his very first big break. Number 1. Hans Zimmer got his start as an assistant on this film before the original score was rejected. He stepped in and proved he could handle a feature film just before his career exploded into Hollywood royalty. The lead actress, Charlotte Burke, was chosen from 1,500 girls, but she never acted in another movie again. She loved the experience so much she felt she couldn't top it and walked away from the industry forever. Director Bernard Rose tricked her during one nightmare scene by having an actor smash a window with a hammer without warning. Her screams of terror are completely real because she didn't know the glass was made of sugar. The film is a haunting look at how a child's drawings can manifest into a dangerous physical reality. It remains one of the most unique and visually striking genre films of the decade. These 80s deep cuts prove that the best horror isn't always at the top of the box office. Some of these films almost killed their actors, while others launched massive careers. Which one are you adding to your watch list tonight? Tell me in the comments.